Pump it up, pump it up.
Trae.
Come on, come on.
With Trae.
Pump it up, pump it up.
It's the day with Trae.
This is the day to gain inspiration, to make a positive change in the nation. We're inviting you to partake in conversation, to raise your vibration. It's the day that we will all celebrate all of our peaks that make this thing elevate. Watch the negative fade away, cause it's the day with Trae.
Grand Rising, everyone. Welcome to the Day with Trae. I'm your host, Trae Holiday. I want to welcome you to another magnificent Monday. Of course, I also want to thank you for starting your week off with me this week. Really excited for my two guests who are in the building today. We got Rodney McCurry. He is the head coach of the Seattle Majestics. We're going to be talking all about this phenomenal female football team in this show. And I'm really excited that he's here to join us to give us some history. And later on in the show, we got Anthony Session back in the building. Y'all know him as the Mad Bus Driver. He is going to be back to be sharing some updates on an amazing event he has coming up this month. And of course, you know, he can't leave us without a few jokes. But of course, y'all know it is the top of the show. So it's a great time for you to tag and share this stream. However you're watching this show, tag and share it. If you can tag it, tag it. If you can't, just share it or just talk about it with folks who you feel could benefit from a daily dose of dopeness right here on The Day with Trae. If you can't watch us, don't worry. You can still listen to us because we're actually available anywhere you find your favorite podcast as well. So just search Converge Media Network and The Day with Trae. You'll find me on whichever platform is your favorite. There's a lot of them and we're on all of them. So go ahead and search for us. You'll find us there. Well, I'm really excited to dive in and learn more about the Seattle Majestics. Up next, we got Rodney McCurry in the building. What's up, Rodney?
How you doing?
Good. How are you?
I'm doing great.
Yes.
Fantastic.
This is exciting because I have seen your players out and they're like telling people about the Seattle Majestics. And before we get into the team, I got to get into the head coach. I got to get into the man. Tell us a bit about your background in sports.
Well, I played sports all growing up, all my years growing up, and then I was a kind of a standout in high school at Decatur High School in Federal Way. And I went off and played some college ball, and I was kind of that guy where, the neighborhood thinks you're going to make it and then didn't make it, So coaching is a great avenue to pursue your career outside of playing. And so I went ahead and jumped into the high school game at the age of 25. And so it's been about 12 years for me. And then, I got into the Seattle Majestics. I made it to the pro status. And so it's just been an awesome ride for me, my growth and getting into the pro level. I never thought I'd get into the pro level coaching women, but it happened, and that's just kind of the path that I taken, and I love every bit of it.
Well, this is really great because I always think the best transition is from a player to coach. There's some folks who have coached that didn't necessarily always play, right? So a lot of their stuff is technical, but as a player, you're experiencing the different ups and downs of the game, and you're able to bring all of that knowledge and lived experience into how you coach. Tell us a bit about your coaching pedagogy. How do you go about this and educating those who are on your team?
Honestly, like the women's game has actually made me grow as a coach. I'm also a high school coach. I coach high school football as well. But it's broadened my my bag, sort of say, that I've used to help players coach and stuff like that. And so I had to learn a lot of patience. I had to learn a lot of ways to get my X's and O's across so that way players can understand. With the women, you definitely have to be a little bit more patient. You have to tell the why. You have to show more than you have to do with the boys. And so taking that, I use it with my boys as well, and I've learned a whole lot. It's just been a good experience for me, and I'm able to coach those down to my coaches as well. Those tactics down to my coaches as well. for instance, I have a couple defensive coaches and stuff like that on my boys team, and we just had a coaches meeting because we're kicking off spring ball, and it was a lot of that, like a lot of, hey, let's be patient with them. We don't have to yell, we don't have to scream. Let's take the passion and put it more towards your delivery rather than voicing it out, so that way they can hear the words rather than hear the yelling. And I learned all that from the women's game, and women are going to keep you on your square. They definitely are. And so they're going to call you out when you're a little out of pocket. They're going to call you out when, the delivery is not right. And so those type of things I spread across, honestly, life. I take it into my relationship as well, my wife and my kids. And so it's just been a humbling, growth experience for me.
Yeah, it sounds like it. I mean, because that was going to be a question of mine. You go from coaching kind of high school young men to women in the pro league. It's a difference there. And so I love hearing how you made that adjustment. Well, you said you weren't sure how you were going to get yourself to the pro league. Tell us more about female football. I think there's a lot of questions I have. So I'm thinking maybe my viewers also have questions, the audience here, around, how this kind of came about. I know it was brewing for some time before it even launched. So tell us more about kind of the history of female football.
Yeah, well, I can tell you, Seattle Majestics have been around since 2002. And it was sort of just like a club league leading up to the two major leagues in the United States that hold women's tackle football to a professional level. We're in the WNFC. It's founded by O.J. Jenkins. She's an African-American woman from Texas, and she founded the company. She actually owns and coaches one of the franchises who we're going to play in the playoffs. And they're one of the most dominant franchises in the WNFC. So we consider ourselves, and we're rated as the highest level of women's professional football. So we're literally the Women National Football League. We're just like that. And so we're equivalent to it. And so I joined in, Seattle Majestics joined in 2019, I think it was. And we've been struggling a little bit in the league because of the dynamic of the business of the WNFC wants you to have. And so finances and, just organizational stuff and finding good players and free agents and having those resources to be able to take these free agents on. And so we have a fantastic organization that we have put together this past year. This is my first year coaching. We have a designated CEO, we have a designated CFO, we have a designated COO, and they just do their job, and then the head coach just does his job as well. So we're definitely building a foundation for young ladies, all the way from 18 up until you can play, until you can still play, and we're building a pipeline with the high school flag teams that are starting to come about in this state of Washington. So it's just been an awesome experience, and we're definitely building a big foundation for our players to be able to strive in and build their careers.
I mean, well, that was exactly where I was going, because I'm like, how do you find players, right? I mean, you think about a lot of the recruitment that happens for the NFL. They have this entire pipeline that's built from the AAU, like the junior leagues, right? And when kids, before they even get to high school, they're already looking at players. And my son played basketball, so I'm always thinking about how there was scouts out there since he was in like the 4th grade, watching these AAU games as we were going all over the state of Washington. But it's similar to football, right? Football has a lot of these junior leagues, kind of these community leagues almost, right? They're everywhere. And my son plays football, so I'm learning more about that game. But there's this entire pipeline for young men to find, hone in on their skills, to be able to create that understanding of team camaraderie, so many things that go from one level to another as they age. What does this look like for a young female who's interested in the female football league?
Well, this is new. This is really new for everybody. Just this past year, they said that 64,000 girls joined football for the first time in the United States, 64,000. So that's including rec league, flag, club flag, high school flag, and then of course tackle football. And we're at the professional level. So we do have tryouts. We do have, we do want to evaluate some of the best talent. We don't just take anybody, but, we want to evaluate the best talent. And for us, we have an actual talent recruiter that goes out and helps us with recruiting. Wow. So we have a specific position that we're looking for, and we look for that style person that we want, or that style lady that we want to, play that position. But we do have development. We hang our hat on development for the Seattle Majestics. Like we get them in and we put them in the weight room. We have a mentality coach. We have a career coach. We have speed coach. And we feel like that's the best way to develop, great talent. We also have a lot of multi-sport athletes. So as you know, like women don't have a whole lot of professional sports outside of college. So we do have a college volleyball player. We have some college softball players. We have a professional kicker who's, one of the best kickers in the whole WNFC. So we're definitely trying to translate everything else into a football game and put them in the right positions that's gonna help them succeed. But again, it's just what each organization is willing to do and what they're, putting themselves in place to be able to find their talent. And that's how we find our talent.
Wow. Well, okay, a couple more questions and then I got to let you go because I got so many questions about this because I think it's really intriguing. One thing I have to ask you is how they go from flag, which is no tackling, to learning how to safely tackle. Because I know the safety of the football game or the game of football is real, right? Yes. We talk about concussions, we talk about all of these impacts to the body. Absolutely. Because you're literally colliding with another person on purpose, right? So tell us about how y'all develop the female players to understand that safety implement when they're thinking now about from just grabbing flags to now physical impact.
Absolutely. So I think the biggest thing is starting with our coaching staff and making sure we're coaching our coaches on the right things and how to put our women in the right positions to be able to tackle and make contact and take contact. And so we're all certified. All 13 of my coaches are certified in tackling. And we practice. We drill. We start with no pads. We start with, dummy pads and things like that. And so, and we never put anybody in a position to where they're super uncomfortable or they're not capable of doing what we're asking them to do. So there is a development there. It might take 2 years. It might take a year, but we are dedicated in that process of, helping our ladies transition. So, and again, it's that patience thing. It's that, we all have to have it, especially when we're coaching, intermediate, style players all the way up into a pro status. And it takes some time. And we're all year round. We go 24, 365, we go all year round. So we, like I said, we have a playoff game this Thursday, win or lose, end of June, we start, our championship is the 23rd, June 23rd. So if we play in it, we play in it. If we don't, then we'll be practicing. Wow. And we'll be recruiting, and it's just a whole year process. Yes. I
mean, okay, so then you talk about this being professional. So then, of course, that leads me to go, well, so now the players are compensated.
Yes.
I would love to understand quickly, because I'm running out of time with you, but quickly, the mechanics of, them being able to be paid as professionals.
So the mechanics would be from, it would be more so of us building the product to a point where we have financial backing to be able to pay back. And so right now we're on a couple networks that stream us, and then we're supposedly getting profit shares back. Those profit shares, once we get big enough pot of the profit shares and we're able to pay the organizational part of what we're doing, then we can start paying players out. Also, big investors. I think that's where people are missing, is that the NFL has billion-dollar investors, multi-billion-dollar investors and multi-billion-dollar owners. And they have partnerships with companies that are multi-billion-dollar companies. Once we get to that place, then we're able to pay our players, and we want to get to that point. I think that's the That's the unfortunate part of this whole thing, is that the sacrifice these ladies make, not only to their bodies, but their time and, everything else that they're giving to the program, we're not paid. Yeah. And so in the 5 years of the WNSC, I think we're at as closest that we can get, that we've been to getting our payers paid. Yeah. And so we're looking forward, I think in the next 3 years, we're going to start having some type of contracts that'll be issued out to some of our players.
Well, this is really intriguing because it's like the beginning of something that can be huge. And I think there's a lot of people who are understanding, when we think about equal pay and all of these kinds of things, we've been such a sports driven society. Absolutely. Western society just has, so that competitive nature. But of course, this means y'all need to get more fans, and get them in the stands. Make sure you look right here at this camera and let folks know how they come to support the Seattle Majestics. Yeah,
I think number one, follow us on Instagram with Seattle Majestics, Facebook, Seattle Majestics. We have all our information on our social platforms. Go to seattlemajestics.com. You can donate, you can find tickets, you can find our schedules, you can find our roster, all our stats, everything. So I think that's the start. I'm Coach Rodney McCurry. You can reach out to me. I answer all my direct messages and everything else, and I can guide you to where you need to go. And there's a game this Thursday, you said. Yes. So tell us how folks get to that game. Well, you got to fly to Las Vegas. So we play Las Vegas. We play in Las Vegas for the WNFC Western Conference it's championships, but it's playoffs first and then championship the next 2 days after. Caffeine TV is an app that you can download, and we have our games on there, so you can stream us there live, or you can they have a database where you can just watch all our old games and stuff too. Amazing. Yes. Coach Rodney McCurry, thank you so much for enlightening me today on female professional football. Yes. Thanks again for joining. It was a pleasure. Yes, it was. Thank you. Wow, y'all. I probably could have asked so many more questions, but of course, we got to get to laughs. That means up next, we got Anthony Session joining me right after this short break. Y'all don't want to miss the Mad Bus Driver right after this. Stay tuned. You're watching The Day with Trae.
This enrollment is a situation whereby people whose birthright to be indigenous is being stolen from them by politicians that have been elected to lead.
Today, the latest or last chapter of the saga concerned the threatened physical ejectment of as many as 21 Nooksack families from their homes.
I think it's come about by hatred for our family. That's what it's all about.
Our bloodline is still here. They can't get rid of us.
Ballet's greatest comedy, Coppelia, returns to Pacific Northwest Ballet. Perfect for all ages, Coppelia delights with dazzling dancing and magnificent music played by the PNB Orchestra. Seven performances only. Visit pnb.org for tickets.
Welcome back, everyone, to The Day with Trae. I'm your host, Trae Holiday. Joining me right now is Anthony Session, a.k.a. the Mad Bus Driver. What's up?
Hey, how you doing, family?
Hey, it's good to see you again.
Good to see you, too.
It's been a minute since we had you on.
Yeah, we've been busy working, because MAD stands for what? Motivation and determination.
I know that's right.
And had a lot going on. And before I get started, I just want to say thank you so much, for doing all the wonderful work that you do on behalf with the people and for the people. Just keep on spreading your love and positivity, butterfly. We sure
you.
appreciate you. We sure do.
Thank you. Well, that means a lot to me. But it's interesting because you have continued to be consistent in your works as a comedian. You've done a lot of different things and you're continuing it on. Tell us about your journey since the last time we spoke. You've continued so much.
Well, there's been quite a lot of positive, and great things going. But I will say this, you may have been wondering why I have this get up.
Right.
As the mad bus driver or a bus driver anywhere in the world, bus drivers wear about 72 hats per day per shift. So right before I got here, which I'm glad I wasn't late, I had to do some exorcisms down there on 3rd and Pike and Pine. It's kind of rough down there. And normally, holy would be spelled Holly. Not with these folks I've been working on. But we got them together now and everything gonna be cool.
Right.
So yeah, we was doing that. And matter of fact, it gets so rough sometimes. This says the good book had to take me a drink from time to time. It get a little rough out there. But in answering your question, we've been doing a lot of stuff, a lot of great things. As a matter of fact, since the last time we were here at the studio, I was talking about creating a TV sitcom based on the antics of the folks who ride the bus, because it's all about the regular folks, everyday folks, and stuff like that. But they're like impulsive. So it's gonna be it would be a weekly TV sitcom show that comes on, and not like reality TV where they go overboard with all that nonsense. This would be just from one bus stop to the next bus stop. Yeah. So as of last June 22nd, we finally filmed the pilot episode that I was talking to you about.
Wow.
So we got it done, just got a green light a few weeks ago to start shopping it around to the major networks after we get rid of this show that's coming up, the Mad Bus Driver Live on the 22nd of June. And also, since the last time we talked to you, one of I think it was the pilot or one of the episodes actually won a Laurel Award.
Wow.
Can you believe that? Yeah, for the episode. So I kind of needed that to happen to know that, now we got something. We're working with something here.
Well, I'm going to tell you right now, as soon as you told me about the concept of a sitcom following, a bus driver stop to stop, that all the adventures that y'all have experienced, I think it's genius. It's pure genius. So I'm so glad to hear that. Congratulations to you and the whole team. Of course, now we got to hear more about this show coming up, because this is going to be live. People right here in the Seattle area are going to be able to come and see more. Tell us more about this show on the 22nd.
Okay, on Saturday, June 22nd, at the Black and Tan Hall at Rainier, right there at Rainier and Orcas. Yeah, we're gonna have the Mad Bus Driver show coming out live, and we got a lot of stuff to discuss. Now it is an adult show, but we don't go so far that you gotta stick your fingers in your ear. We just having some fun. And I'm really glad to do this because on the back of the bus, the Mad Bus, I have the Mad Bus Drivers outreach program. So we reach out and touch some folks. And since it's June, a lot of young people are gonna be getting married. So we're gonna have a little discussion about what they learned, because they just graduated from the Mad Bus Drivers 6-week Get Right Before You Get Married program. Oh yeah, I mean, everybody can, anybody can come. Doesn't matter, what your sexual orientation is. But I'm trying to work with some of these young men to let them know, son, if you want to stay married to the same beautiful, gorgeous woman like I have for 40 years, well, then you need to learn from somebody that's done it. Not your drunk Uncle Leo that's been divorced 17 times.
No, I agree with you 100%. I'm so glad that you are going to be putting this show on the stage for folks. And it takes an effort. We always talk about, we see you out there on stage, but there's a team behind you to help make that happen. Tell us more about the importance that you've had to put in to building a solid team.
So one of the things that it takes is belief in yourself, some blessing from above, but it takes a lot of footwork one day at a time. And I was like, to the great spirit above, God, as I understand, I'm like, but I need some help. And what happened, Trae, was that somehow, some way, I looked up and there's these two wonderful people. One especially wonderful is a great screenwriter that I hired because I put out this thing, you know, I interviewed some people and they were trying to do some stuff that we don't want. And I was blessed with this really wonderful screenwriter by the name of Miss Sally Marks. I think she's from down in Phoenix, Arizona. So she understood where I was going, what I was trying to do. And she, you know, she came on board and it's just been, you know, it's been really great. And also with the help of my wonderful and beautiful wife, Kelly May Session, AKA Mrs. Mad Bus Driver, you know, having that person behind me saying, you know, it's your time, do your thing, whatever it is that you need to do, wherever it is you need to go, you go do that, take as long as you want. Just don't forget to bring the right bread home when you come home in the evening. So,
I love that.
Yeah.
I love that. Well, you know, I'm excited. The show is going to be on the 22nd.
Yes.
I got to give you time because folks want to know how they're going to get their tickets to this live show. Look right here in this camera.
Okay.
Let them know how. Not only do they get their tickets, but how do they stay connected to the journey with the Mad Bus Driver?
Okay.
Right there.
Well, you know, we'll say, here we go right here. The show's going to be at the Columbia City, at the Black and Tan. I'm sorry, at the Black and Tan Hall, Rainier Avenue. But one of the ways you can keep up with me is you can go to themadbusdriver.com. From there, you can go to upcoming events, and that'll take you to where you can get your tickets. And also, you can go to themadbusdriver. Heck, I can't even think of the name.
Is it on your social media?
Yes, on my social
Mad
media.
Bus Driver,
The madbusdriver. brownpapertickets.com. That's it. The madbusdriver.brownpapertickets.com. I got 85 jobs, so sometimes I get a little confused my own self there.
Well, thank you so much for joining me. I'm excited for this show on the 22nd.
And guess who's going to be your host with the most? Yes, it's going to be this lady right here, you know. And thank you. And also, I forgot to tell you, it hasn't been released yet, but the Mad Bus Driver is going to be in an upcoming horror movie called The House of Karma. So yeah, after seeing you last year, a couple years ago, so that also is going to be happening.
Look at you.
You know, so, you know, anything's possible. And I just want to say, you know, this is for the young. This is for anybody who wants to come sit down and enjoy yourself in a great, safe, clean environment. And we're going to have, you know, a really great time. And that's, again, at the Black and Tan Hall. I think that's 5608 Rainier Avenue South, right there at Rainier and Orcas. Yeah. And don't forget to go to themadbusdriver.com. Also, Anthony Session Comedian on Facebook and the Mad Bus Driver Instagram. There we go. We finally got it on. Can I say one last thing?
One last thing.
Okay, sweetheart. I was looking at the TV this past Thursday, and the chief of police, Chief Diaz, you know, there's a lot of stuff going on, and he was pretty upset, and he was emotional. I just want to say to the mayor, if you're looking for somebody to take his place, call me at 1-800, we tired of them, and you can pay me half fee, and I promise you, somewhere between the second and the third day, somewhere around midnight, things is gonna change. Call me at 1-800, we tired of them. Okay.
Thank you so much for joining me. Always a pleasure. Oh my goodness, y'all. We know the Mad Bus Driver is going to bring us the laughs. I get to wrap up all of this joy right after this short break. Stay tuned. You're watching The Day with Trae.
Back to Besa, it's always been important to me that we uplift stories from across the region and that no matter where you live in the nation, you never have to miss a moment of the show as we continue to highlight the beauty, excellence, and resilience of our communities across the Pacific Northwest. Why? Because representation matters. So no matter where you live, be it the Central District or Centralia, Portland or Pullman, or anywhere across the country, I encourage you to join me on this Back to Besa journey by downloading the free Fox Local app on your phone or smart TV as we continue to elevate the very best in our communities.
Let's start the show.
Welcome back, everyone, to the Day with Trae. I'm your host, Trae Holiday. I want to thank you for starting your week off with us. And of course, I got to thank my guest. Huge shout out to Rodney McCurry, head coach of the Seattle Majestics. Make sure you go to the website, learn more about this phenomenal female football team we have right here in our city and the strides that they are making in the league. This is something that we get to support from the beginning, y'all. So get your information, get your engagement going with the Seattle Majestics. And of course, huge shout out to Anthony Session, the mad bus driver, for joining me today. Y'all, he said it. Brownpapertickets.com. You want to go there, get your tickets to this phenomenal show coming up June 22nd. You don't want to miss those funnies. And you know, for me, I want you to be inspired, y'all, because inspiration abounds when we have guests here on the Day with Trae. You too can find your way to be committed to community in a way that benefits all. Thanks so much for watching. And for me, y'all, until tomorrow at 11 a.m. Peace. Converge Media produces culturally relevant content for Black and urban audiences. Our coverage is raw, transparent, and objective, praised by community leaders, government officials, and residents. Support Converge Media today via Venmo, Cash App, or PayPal at Converge Media.